Greetings, Light Tribe. Janine Palmer here, Spirit Silver Moon for Harmony Energy Healing. I want to do some energy work today for ancestral healing. Whatever type of healing might be needed for you. That match isn't going to go. For you, for your family, for the collective, for your ancestors. Kind of light a candle, set your intention. And I've got some copal incense. We can send what we want to release into the flame, keeper of the flame. Send it up with the smoke. Allow the smoke to clear our space for the work that we're going to do. If you can think of something specifically that you want to work on, release, try to more deeply understand, forgive for yourself, for your mother's line, your father's line, your culture, your bloodline or bloodlines. Every culture has had its struggles. Every culture needs to heal to some degree, on levels known or unknown. And a lot of cultures are holding on to the angst and the suffering and the ideas of the suffering, not knowing why it happened or what was gained from it on some level. But they're kind of keeping that pain and suffering alive, whether they're aware of it or not. I'm going to rattle the space, your space. We're clearing the space, clearing the energy. Get loose. Just working in the energy field to work on helping to clear that away, clear away any debris, anything you're ready to let go of, anything that's lingering there, known or unknown. Move it out. Okay. So you can focus on something that triggers you, something that you feel is unjust or unhealed or unfair. And if you could face that thing, what would you say to it? Breathe in deeply. Take yourself to a safe place. Visualize that in front of you. What do you want to say if you want to speak your truth or speak your peace? What would you say? How would you clear that out of you through your voice or your thoughts? You can think it, you can visualize it, you can speak it. Take a moment to visualize addressing it. If it's an event in time, if it's a memory, if it's perspective, perception, a limited viewpoint, unhealed pain, yours, your ancestors, your bloodline. If you could help your ancestors to heal by doing this, what would you do? What would you say? If you didn't know what your ancestors agreed to come here to do, what experiences they agreed to have, for what would be learned on a broader perspective, on a soul level, but also in a broader perspective. You don't know that, perhaps. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Without that knowledge, you might suffer more from your perspective of that thing. So address it, speak to it, say what you want to say. If you want to yell at it, if you want to punch a pillow, whatever you need to do to release that, let that go. What would you say to your ancestor or ancestors on either your father's line or your mother's line, or both? If you could visualize them standing in front of you, what would you say? Say it now. Would you tell them you're proud of them for their bravery? And that you honor them for their honor, but that, you know, you might be honoring them in a way that you think you're honoring them, but you might not be honoring them or yourself if you're staying stuck in that lower vibrational energy of unforgiveness. Do they want you to forgive? If it helped to free them from it in any way, even where they are now, and if it helped to free you, would you be open to that? Do they have any advice for you now at this point, at this time in your life that you need? Take a moment and sit with that and see if you can hear that. And I'm not talking about something that's coming through an energy of hatred and unforgiveness. Hopefully they're not still stuck there, because if they've crossed over, that's not where they're at. So sit with that and see what that feels like to you. Is there anything you can release? Are there any thoughts that you might want to send up with this smoke right here? Is there anything you want to throw into the fire? Do you want to throw unforgiveness into the fire? Do you want to throw misunderstanding into the fire? Do you want to throw the effects of limited perspective into the fire? Do you want to throw hatred, anger, and blame, which are shackles, into the fire? Do you want to work on healing what wasn't understood then and still isn't understood now? What needs to be healed? We can't fix it from the energy that created it. We have to rise out of those ashes and stop rolling around in them and throwing them at everybody. How is that serving you? So you can visualize sending love down the line, down the timeline, down to the time of whatever event it is that needs that healing. Send the love there. Send the love to yourself now, where you're at. And give yourself permission to move beyond the stuckness if you're ready to do so. You can send yourself love into the future to guide your way there. Send a light into that future timeline to guide you and to open you, to clear away the debris of the old paradigm, of the old timelines, of the old thought forms, of the old belief systems that have been keeping you stuck and your ancestors stuck. Send yourself healing and love in whatever direction it's needed for your forward movement and that of your ancestors. They might want you to do the healing work to move forward to a new earth, so to speak, to a higher vibrational level where that stuckness just does not serve anymore. It's time for that to be over. But these are individual choices, which may or may not work for you, which you may or may not be ready for. So this is up to you to choose what you may want to release. I have an interruption coming. I'm just finishing up the video.
Oh, okay.
It's okay. Anyway, I think that's probably enough for this one anyway. So ancestral healing on whatever side, however you feel called to interact with that, whatever your thoughts and feelings are about that, whatever your emotions are with regard to that. Call in a guide. You know, if you want to continue to do this work, who's going to show up for you to work through this? Spirit guide, angel, ancestor, power animal. Call in those forces that are around you, that are at your disposal if and when you need. And honor your ancestors by honoring yourself. The middle path and the power of forgiveness, because it is amazingly powerful. Peace.